Hi guys, welcome to my top 10 best movies of 2018. I'm hoping you've just watched the top 10 worst movies of 2018, and similar to that list, I haven't seen every movie in 2018. I tried to see all the best movies in 2018, unfortunately I didn't have the time to see them all. So movies like Hereditary and A Star Is Born, I didn't see those movies at the cinema and I still haven't seen them. So they didn't make it to the list, and I know they made the list of a lot of people's top 10 movies, but this list of top 10 movies is just a list of the 10 best movies that I've personally seen in 2018. And at number 10 is Upgrade. This was the R-rated version of Venom that we didn't get, only without Venom. It was exciting from start to finish with some of the best action sequences I've seen in any action movie, and what makes those scenes better is the way the camera moved with the character. It was just incredible camera work. And to make things even more bizarre with the Venom comparison, Logan Marshall Green is the spitting image of Tom Hardy, and Logan Marshall Green also has a twin.
You didn't know that I'm a fucking ninja.
While I am state of the art, I am not a ninja.
And at number 9 is Deadpool 2. This wasn't as good as the first movie, but it was still a lot of fun. I loved Josh Brolin's portrayal of Cable in the film, and I was very surprised to see the Juggernaut in this film because they kept the Juggernaut away from all the trailers, so it was a pleasant surprise to see something new in the film. The jokes were sometimes a little too in your face, a lot of jokes in the film, but apart from that, it was overall a great comic book movie.
They probably won't even make a 3.
Yeah, why would they? Stop it too. You killed it.
And at number 8 is Black Panther. For me, this is probably the most overrated movie of 2018, but that doesn't mean it's a bad movie at all. It's still an amazing movie, and I can see this movie being maybe the top 1 or 2 movies of people's 2018 lists, but for me it still makes the top 10. The best thing about this movie was the story. The story was very deep. I loved the people of Wakanda, and I loved their way of life, and I loved how they showed that in the film with all the visuals. It was just stunning. The film had a very powerful message that speaks some truth in real life. And at number 7 is Halloween. This is easily one of the best Halloween movies since the original, but it doesn't come without its flaws. Now I know that the critics praised this movie, which is great, and a lot of people who were expecting big things from the film didn't get what they wanted from it. I didn't get everything that I wanted from this film, but I think it was a complete overhaul of the Halloween franchise, and it's something that we needed. With the return of Carpenter, Curtis and Nick Castle, I thought that was the perfect move to bring the Halloween franchise forward. They stuck with the tried and tested formula in the Halloween films, and it worked for me, and I think that's what a lot of people had complaints about, because it was just the same old Michael Myers, the same old things that he's doing in the films. But for me, it worked perfectly. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next with the Halloween movies. Mission Impossible Fallout. I'm not a fan of Tom Cruise or the Mission Impossible movies. To me, these are just movies that showcase Tom Cruise's huge ego and his ability for running, but I always find myself going to see all the Mission Impossible movies. In fact, I've seen all the Mission Impossible movies, including the first one, in the cinema, and I didn't love all of them, but I find myself going back to see them again because they are average to good action movies. The trailers didn't wow me at all, but the movie was absolutely incredible. It was like a hard-hitting, explosive action American version of James Bond. Henry Cavill was the clear standout in this film. And then number 5 is Summer of '84. This is another surprise movie of 2018. This did make my top 5 list of horror movies for 2018, so there's no surprise that this makes the top 10 list of the movies in 2018. This was one of those nostalgic filled films that hit the nail on the head. Mix that with the coming of age movie where all the teens are up to no good and they're trying to solve mysteries of missing people in a little town. And to top that off, it had a shocking final act.
Even serial killers live next door to somebody.
Number 4 is Creed 2. Rocky 4 is one of my favourite Rocky movies, and actually Creed is one of my favourite Rocky movies as well. I was a little sceptical at first when I heard that Ivan Drago was coming back and he had a son that was also a boxer who just happened to be around about the same age as Adonis as well, so they could fight each other just like their two dads did. To me, it felt a little too far-fetched for a grounded movie, but it worked. I just had goosebumps in the first fight that they had in the film and the last fight that they had at the end of the film. The first Creed took us through the emotion, but something that Creed 2 done differently was not only did they take us through the emotions again, gave us the goosebumps and we felt for the character of Creed and Rocky, but it made us feel for the Drago family. It made us see their point of view and what they'd done behind the scenes, so it was great to see both sides of the story. And number 3 is Avengers Infinity War. For me, Infinity War is the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. They managed to cram every main character, apart from Hawkeye and Ant-Man obviously, but they managed to cram everybody into this movie and still give them enough screen time to know they're there and know their purpose in the film. The main attraction was Thanos. It was essentially a Thanos movie. Even at the end of the movie, when it usually says the Avengers will return, it says Thanos will return. It was a mind-blowing experience for me. 10 years in the making, you know, when we first seen Iron Man, we thought that's a great movie, wonder what they're going to do next, and who would have thought that 10 years later it built up to something like Avengers Infinity War. It's clearly, it is the biggest movie of all time. I know it hasn't made the most money at the cinema, but it's one of the biggest cinematic experiences in my generation. And at number 2 is Bohemian Rhapsody. This didn't fare too well with the critics, but I've got no idea why. I grew up listening to Queen, and I had to sit through Live Aid lots and lots of times. I was just a little baby when Live Aid came out. I was only 2 years old, but my dad loves Queen and he used to play the Live Aid performance all the time, so I knew everything about that performance growing up. And essentially this movie is a build up to that Live Aid performance. There is a lot of things that happen after Live Aid, a lot of albums and a lot of singles that Queen have brought out after that, but this movie just was focused on that build up to Live Aid. I remember watching this film forgetting that I was actually watching Rami Malek as Freddie. It felt to me like I was watching Freddie Mercury, and when it finally came to that Live Aid scene at the end of the film, I had goosebumps, I had a lump in my throat for that full performance. It lasted for about 10 minutes, but seeing that in full HD, seeing it from different angles, obviously it's just a reenactment of the original Live Aid, but when you watch Live Aid and you watch this back to back, they're very, very similar. The cans of juice, the beer bottles, the beer cups that are sitting on the piano, absolutely everything was just amazing. And then when you go through the journey with Freddie Mercury throughout the film, and then he starts singing at the end with the Live Aid songs, even though these songs were written and performed way before he found out he was dying, listening to the words it's very haunting listening to those words. It's as if he knew he was going to die young. And at number 1 is A Quiet Place. There's no surprise that this is my number 1. For those of you who watched my top 5 horror movies of 2018, I placed A Quiet Place at number 1 for that, and I did mention in that video that A Quiet Place wasn't only my best horror movie of 2018, it was my best movie of 2018. This was a movie with very, very little dialogue, and I felt like we connected to the characters more in this movie than we did in movies with a lot of dialogue. The acting from Emily Blunt and John Krasinski was nothing short of stunning. I'm a family man and I would do anything for my family, and that scene near the end of the movie with John Krasinski's character, what he did for his kids, it was just heart-wrenching. It broke me. Overall, it was an outstanding movie. So that's my top 10 movies of 2018. Like I said, I haven't seen every movie in 2018. Potentially that would have been different if I'd seen every movie, but I can't see every movie, just like yourself. So that's my top 10 movies of 2018. If you've seen them and if you liked them or you didn't like them, again, I'd love to know your comments. Let me know why you loved them or let me know why you didn't love them. So this is going to be my last video of 2018, guys. It's been a huge, long journey and I love this year. This has been the best year so far for me on YouTube, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in 2019. So from myself at Wolfman's Got Nerds, I wish you all a happy new year and all the best. Anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching again. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.